Happy Ganesh Puja, Ganpati Baba Moria. On this glorious occasion, we are having a beautiful discussion on long after he is dead and gone. Long after he is dead and gone. The famous quote from Chittaranjan Das. That is a famous, really incredible statement from C.R. Das on the famous occasion of this Judgment Day that was eventually held on 5th May of 1909. I think you will be all acquainted with this term, with this major famous quotation, long after he is dead and gone. I will come to the discussion because to some extent I think you are aware. I think you will be hearing the famous dialogue, famous argument, famous prediction. It has never been predicted in the history of the mankind, history of earth. This great soul, C.R. Das, had a great prediction not only for this age but for the ages coming ahead. Eventually it is a great prediction, long after he is dead and gone. That's what I will quote again and again. To some extent you are also aware, you know. But thing is that before that I want to quote. What is this death? What is this death? He is dead and gone. If consciously and spiritually I want to quote, it is not applicable to our Lord. Never. But still then, it is the Leela or play. Leela or play. For actually, the lawmaker has to be abided with the law. That is for the outward reason. But actually he is untouched. Nothing can touch him. Nothing can actually be applicable to him because he is beyond everything, beyond everyone. Actually, he is not simply untouched. Still then, in a very, may not be, in a very predicting, future predicting way, maybe emotionally, or from the innermost conscious corner of his heart, consciously C.R. Das has quoted long after he is dead and gone. Okay, I want to quote this line and then I will come to the explanation. Long after he is dead and gone, his words will be echoed and re-echoed. Long after, because I have quoted already. 5th May of 1909, this was on Judgment Day when C.R. Das quoted before this judge, the prosecutor inside the court. Long after he is dead and gone, his words will be echoed and re-echoed, not only in India but across the distant seas and the lands. How romantically, very, future predictor, the drashta, the viewer. With that role, C.R. Das now playing and estimating, predicting, this is going to happen. His words will be echoed and re-echoed, not only in India. Just they can see where really Sri Aurobindo spreads to. Who really is Sri Aurobindo? That time from that glorious speech, you can imagine, at least you can access, not only in India but across the distant seas and lands. How can I explain? Great prophet of that time, I think. This is our Lord, he is talking of, and we express our gratitude to the Lord. But thing is that, just imagine, C.R. Das was predicting in a glorious, lovely way, lovely manner, how he could be able to visualize the future in his own present speech. echoed and re-echoed in the, not only in India but across the distant seas and lands. Therefore, I say that the man in his position, why? Now itself he is behind the bars, he is before the bars of the court. And you people, the judge, the prosecuting authority, the rule makers who are standing, actually before him, I say, the man in his position is not only standing before the bar of this court, because this bar is very much limited, very much confined, very much precise, and very much time bound. It can't know who really he is, what really he represents, how the great he is, where really is the beginning and where is the end, from where he has descended and to where actually what is the purpose, what is the mission and the vision. Nobody is in this world in his naked eye, in this sense, human sense, can never predict, visualize, analyze. Very tough. Because with the mind you can't analyze the supermind. Being a man or a superman, on a undersurface man, you can't be able to comment upon the superman. So here the time and the space is very much inadequate, very much limited. So Siddhartha quoted, man in his position, not only standing before the bar of the court, of this court, but before the bar of the High Court of history. This is only court because the gradation, Supreme Court, High Court, then comes your lower courts, district courts, sessions courts, so many ways. And sometimes also your village courts are also there. In different courts, different countries, according as per their different rule and regulation, it changes. But here where is he staying? Mr. Das, Chittaranjan Das is quoting. In his position, not only standing before the bar of this court, but before the bar of the High Court of history. History is simply non-stoppable. Simply, you can't define what really is history, where it ends and where it begins. What is the process? What is the flow? Where really it is flowing? How it changes is, of course, you don't know. Bhakt ka dusra naam itihas. Another name of time is actually history. History means itihas. Iti means sesa, hasa means katha. The last story, that is itihas, history. And historically it has been predestined. Nobody can be able to understand where it started, from where it started, it began, and where really it is, and where it is leading to. Nobody in a position can be able to understand and define and redefine the story. That's what Professor Das quoted. And the thing is that coming before you and us, really he is dead and gone. Dead and gone. I am actually struck there. I feel, is it actually applicable to our Lord, our Master, Mahayogi Sri Aurobindo? Already I have quoted his, Yogi Sri Aurobindo and revolutionary Sri Aurobindo coexist in his supramental personality. Do you think dead and gone, this is applicable to him? But it is a lila, it is his play. That's what Sri Aurobindo quotes. Who really Sri Aurobindo is, because he is very great, really we are great. We are having that much good fortune to have Lord Sri Aurobindo as our master. Never said anything about him. If you feel 1872 to 1950 is the span when Sri Aurobindo existed. Sri Aurobindo existed here in this earthly embodiment, in this earthly atmosphere in India. We will try to make a big blunder because Sri Aurobindo is not bound by time. Space, he is beyond space. And Sri Aurobindo quotes, he was here before the elements could emerge. Before the elements could emerge, he was here. Before life could breathe, no formation of the life, and no thought of mind. Life could breathe before thought was born. Thought means mind could not develop. Life could breathe. No, you can see the presence of any life. It was not formed. Before the elements could born, even the physical matter was also not created. Before mind and life and the body, nothing was created and he was existing before. He was here before the elements could emerge. Before life could breathe and thought be born. This is Sri Aurobindo. And again we can go. What about his avatarhood? Sri Aurobindo quotes, but indirectly. He has never mentioned something like I. In a sonnet you can see Sri Aurobindo has quoted, even in rags I am God, fallen I am divine. Oof. Great. Thrilling experience. I am getting thrilled, excited. I think it will be touching you like anything. If you are able to understand and visualize your, I don't know how you have evaluated your master. In which sense you are staying evaluating your master, just imagine. Sri Aurobindo speaks of in a sonnet. Even in rags I am God, fallen I am divine. Rarely Sri Aurobindo uses, very rare times Sri Aurobindo has used I. Even in rags I am God, fallen I am divine. High I triumph when downtrodden, long I live when slain. This is your God, this is our master. This is great magnanimity, so much, merciful to leave all the immortality, eternity, infinity, all blissfulness or cheerfulness, all malaise, and venturing down right into this darkness, this suffering, this death, this mortality, and this, untruthfulness, inconscience. Here he is there. But still, he is struggling because this world is a struggling world, suffering world. Sri Aurobindo has quoted around 300 varieties of world, I remember. And out of these 300 varieties of world, you can find one world that is suffering world, another struggling world, another dangerous world. These are the world where he is treading in a naked feet. What Sri Aurobindo quoted, he has come. Immortal deluge with immortality. Mortality can't touch. Man is mortal. That is a very beautiful proverb, incredible proverb, and all-time true proverb. But Sri Aurobindo is actually beyond all these things. Sri Aurobindo simply can't be bound by body and mind. You can't bind him within the time and the space. He is beyond all, unattached, incredible, infinity, omniscient, omnipotent, infinity as a whole. Simultaneously, he is having two bodies, one wide and free above, second intense bound its portion here. Still, there is a tie which can act as a bridge to bridge the two worlds, upper hemisphere and lower hemisphere. This is Sri Aurobindo. Immortal, deluge with immortality. Then I can go to a couple of lines again. Sri Aurobindo quotes, his death is a beginning of greater life. 1950, December 5th, you can remember. That great light, the great lamp came to be vanquished, extinguished. But you know who Sri Aurobindo really is? A sun from which all knowledge is a beam. A sun of which all knowledge is a beam. A greatness without whom no life could breathe. This is Sri Aurobindo. This is Sri Aurobindo, a sun of which all knowledge is a beam. A greatness without whom no life could be. This is Sri Aurobindo, his greatness, magnanimity. His death, so far his death is concerned, his death is a beginning of greater life. Beginning of greater life. Then quotes, death. He dies. What is the condition? What is the purpose? What can we expect from this death? He dies, that the world may be reborn and live. With one man's ambition, the world is lifted up. With one man's death, the salvation of the world, entire world depends upon. That's what he's doing. He dies that the world may be reborn and live. Then, what about his death? How can you find the death considering or correlating with Sri Aurobindo's death? How can you understand? Long after he is dead and done, Sri Aurobindo quotes, immortal bound towards mortality. He is immortal, but referentially, deliberately, knowingly, consciously. He has bound himself into the earth's mortality. He knows. I am not bound by any mortality. I am not. I am immortal in my immortality. Mother quotes Sri Aurobindo's rating. I am immortal in my immortality. Nothing can touch me. I am beyond all. Nothing can bound me. And Sri Aurobindo quotes, nothing to worry. Immortal by renewed mortality. By renewing mortality, you can achieve the immortality. Immortal by renewed mortality. Immortality assured itself by death. Why are you worried? Why are you so much stressed? Nothing to worry. Then I want to go to the C.R. Das, Professor C.R. Das. His another great quotation I want to quote you before you. Long after this controversy will be hushed. Now itself some controversy is arising. This that. Long after this controversy will be hushed in silence. Second time. Long after the turmoil and the agitation will have ceased. First, long after this controversy will be hushed in silence. Second, long after the turmoil and the agitation will have ceased. Third time, long after he is dead and gone. For the second time, same thing. Dead and gone. He will be looked upon the world. Looked upon. Not an ordinary being. He came and actually vanquished, could not be victorious. Sometimes you may claim, because the outward, in your outward attitude, outward knowledge, somebody may predict he could have been the Prime Minister of India or Education Minister, HRD Minister, or whatever is there, or President. But instead, what he did, retired from the politics and went to the sickle sun, lived somewhere, hiding himself, doing the yoga and Pondicherry in a very small place. That is the outward vision people superficially predict. But thing is that what he did, the ages toil to express. Ages toil to express what really is the. No earthly limbs can be able to pen his pose. Who really is he? Can't explain. Simply he is beyond explanation. He is not explicable. Infallible truth. That is what you can see. He will be looked upon as the poet of patriotism, the prophet of nationalism, and the lover of humanity. Have you heard these things? This type of dignitary remarks, what have been marked by Professor C.R. Das, Barrister C.R. Das. That's sort. Long after, I will quote it again. Long after the controversy will be seized in silence. Long after the turmoil and the agitation will have ceased. Long after he is dead and gone, he will be looked upon as the poet of patriotism, the prophet of nationalism, the lover of humanity. Do you think he is long after he is dead and gone? Now itself almost 75 years almost crossed now itself. People now, they are in queue. Thousands, lakhs and crores of people who are gone. They are here to analyze, to understand what really Sri Aurobindo is. What is being said? The prophetic soul of the wide world dreaming on things to come. The prophetic soul of the wide world dreaming on things to come. And that spoke through his lips. It was not the brilliant quotation from C.R. Das, but the millions were speaking, the ages were toiling to express through his voice. That was you have heard. And Sri Aurobindo was acquitted. Sri Aurobindo was acquitted. Sometimes maybe inside him, what fault I have? I am serving my motherland, trying to free it out. My countries, my countrymen, they are struggling. They are suffering, leading the slavery life of slavery under the reign of these Britishers. What fault I have? What fault I have? The voice was very much clear. Keep faith and endure, everything will be all right. You have not come you have not descended here into the earth, into this earthly embodiment for the sake of thee. You are here to raise the mankind, to cure this suffering world. All the sufferings of this suffering world you want to take on your shoulders. You want to carry them and you want to give them solace. You want to cure their misery. For that actually you are here. And the voice is coming within him. It is I who am doing this. It is I who am doing this. Do the things for what you are really being brought here. You have been brought here. And that Vasudeva, Sarva Vasudeva Chetana, that consciousness you have known. This large practice, his friends, his Sri Aurobindo, of Sri Aurobindo, pushed aside his large practice and came to defend him. At first, Sri Aurobindo felt it would be necessary to give him some instructions. But once again, the voice within said, "This is the man who will save you. This is the man who will save you." That was the inner voice. It was coming. Don't worry. Put aside your papers. It is not you who will instruct him. I will instruct him. This was the inner voice. It has been many times. It has been called. I want to remind it. This was really the voice of Lord Krishna, who was guiding him, guiding. And initially he himself was Sri Aurobindo. Sambhavami yoge vige. So Sri Aurobindo, from the beginning of this earthly, creation, in one name or another, in one form of another, Sri Aurobindo has been presiding over this, entire mankind. You can't remember, you should not remember, you must not remember. This is the greatness of your master. And this on this glorious occasion. On this glorious occasion, it is our gratitude. At least where this point where we are really trying, we are sitting. This is actually Ganesh Chaturthi. You are worshipping Ganapati, Vighnanasana Ganapati Ganesh. And on this glorious occasion, simultaneously we are offering our prayers to Lord Ganapati. And this is, mother's child is Lord Ganesh. And here also through Ganesh, at least we have some opportunity to remember, to recall the great sacrifice of our Lord. He is the victim of his own sacrifice, immortal, bound to earth's mortality. The Son of God, born as the Son of Man, has drunk the bitter cup, paid the Godhead's debt. Eternal suffers in a human form. He has signed a salvation's testament with his own blood. What great divine sacrifice. Can you imagine? Salvation's testament with his blood. He has signed. Nothing for him, nothing for his family or near and dear ones, brothers and sisters. It was all the way for the entire mankind. I think it is the real moment, real time, real opportunity to express our gratitude to our Lord, our Master, this supramental avatar, Mahayogi Sri Aurobindo. Vande Mataram. Thank you.